I went from this to this. And I didn't go from this to this just because I worked hard for it. It's simply because I worked hard correctly. I didn't just work hard. I worked smart as well. And I had a very good mindset during this cut as well, which is what helped me push through my plan and end up getting this result that I'm happy with. And this is why most of you guys that try to get into shape don't end up getting into shape, because you just think that you're gonna get into shape just because you work hard. And that's quite the opposite, to be honest, because you can still work barely hard, but if you work correctly, you'll still get better results than the person who works proper hard but doesn't do it correctly. Again, this is why most of you guys struggle to get into shape, because you work super hard to the point where you just end up feeling like giving up, and then you just mentally, drain yourself. You mentally just burn yourself out, and then you just wonder why you don't see those results. So I'm gonna tell you guys the reason why you work super hard but you don't get the results, and how to work hard correctly and with a good mindset. So let's start off with the mindset, which is probably the most important part when it comes to cutting. You need to have this mindset where it's not an instant gratification, it's a delayed gratification. You're not gonna see a six-pack in 4 weeks, unless if you're already lean, but most of you guys aren't even already lean yet. So it's not gonna take you 4 weeks for you to get, or let's say a month, for you to get that six-pack abs. No, it takes like 8 to 16 weeks in order to see that six-pack. So don't think with instant gratification, think long term. And another mindset shift you guys need to make is less about the physique and more about the man you need to become. Because it's never ever been about the six-pack. I'm gonna be so real with you guys. It's never been about the six-pack. It has been, for me, more about the man you need to become. Because if you just focus on the six-pack, you're gonna focus on the right tactics, and more likely the incorrect tactics, was ignoring how you're gonna mentally feel during this cutting process. So stop chasing the six-pack, stop focusing on the abs, and focus on progression. Progression in all other areas within your life, not just physique-wise. But examples of progression can be, progressively overloading, trying to get stronger within the gym, increasing the load. So progressive overload is one of the examples, and another example could be reading an extra page of a book. That's like outside of the gym as well. So focus on progression and don't focus on the six-pack, because if you focus on progression, you're indicating to yourself that you want to become that man of discipline instead of focusing more on the physique. So, and yeah, that's another mindset shift you guys need to make, and you need to have that mindset where you need to be proper consistent, and you're just gonna and you're gonna be like to yourself, no matter how hard something gets, even if it gets hard, I'm still going to do it. I'm still going to show up. I'm still, I'm not going to, eat off my plan, eat something that ruins my plan, and emotional eating as well. So, yeah, this is another mindset thing you guys need to have as well. So there's plenty of ways to get yourself mentally ready, and many ways to make mindset shifts that helps you get that six-pack. These are just one of my few lists that I'd recommend you guys to make mindset shifts on. These are like the common areas where you guys need to make mindset shifts on, because I feel like those are like quite enough. But like I said, there's still many other ways for you to make mindset shifts as well, to be have a very strong, good mindset within this fat loss phase. But yeah, so that's the mindset part done. Now the next part is, this is why, is, you know, working with the right tactics. So a lot of you might be working hard, but you're doing it wrong. You're cutting incorrectly. You're cutting with the wrong formula. So I'm just going to tell you guys a few things that you guys need to be doing correctly in order for you to see results. So you need to first, you need to ask yourself, are you tracking your calories properly? Are you tracking are you tracking your cardio? Are you weighing yourself daily? And are you taking progress photos as well? So that's the tracking part that you guys need to ask yourself on, and make sure you dial those in if you can't answer to any of these questions. And you need to also ask yourself, are you progressively overloading in the gym? Are you getting weaker, or are you just, you know, lifting with shit form? Because if your form is rubbish, even though you progressively overload, you're not gonna end up building muscle. Your muscles aren't gonna be responding properly from the progressive overload. So, for example, if you're doing a incline, let's say an incline machine press with the chest, are you fully, when you extend up, when you come all the way down, are you coming halfway down, or are you coming fully down? Because the difference from here to here is the difference between a chest like this and a chest like this. So make sure I'd recommend you guys to record yourself within every single lifts that you do, so you could just check your form and see if you're doing those exercises correctly. Another thing you need to ask yourself is, are you walking with the same pace? Are you every single day? Because if you're walking with different paces, you're going to have a different amount of calories being burnt, and hence that's going to lead to the margin of error trying to increase a bit, because, you know, as you get leaner, the margin of error decreases, so you won't be like in a consistent deficit. You know, if you don't track if you're not walking or doing your cardio at the same pace as well. That's another thing as well. When it comes to and you guys should be doing your cardio at a moderate pace. I wouldn't recommend doing a high intensity cardio, but anyways, let's say if you do your cardio from 120, let's say if you aim to have your heart rate between 120 to 130 when you're doing your Stairmaster, for example, you need to ask yourself as well, are you walking at that heart rate range? Because if you're not, then of course you're going to barely see results. But yeah, these things is what slowly makes a difference for you to see more results. So those are the examples that I want you guys to look at and do some more research. Make sure you analyze your tactics. You know, obviously it's not that, obviously it's quite hard to analyze the tactics, but make sure you just try to analyze the tactics and see, are you doing this correctly, or is there something wrong with this? You know, make sure you analyze. So that's it from me. If you want more information on how to get lean, then click the body fat guide link down in the description below within this video. But if not, then the fact that you watch this video is good enough for me, and I'll see you lot in the next one.